Hello and welcome to another episode on the TerraVentures realm. It's Flying Magpies here, and I'm here outside the new shop which we opened up in last episode along with the guy who's actually online at the moment, Waffly Egg 791767. So, let's go into first person. I'm just in here mostly to check if we've got any profit, and I believe we do. We've got quite a bit of profit from the saddles. Let's see, nothing from the cod. A bit of nothing from the puffer fish. Oof, we've managed to sell a fishing rod. That's good. Salmon, nothing sold, and name tag was not sold. So that's quite a bit of profit. I'm just going to type up something. Just a minute. And we have profit indeed. I didn't quite see him say how the shop's doing, but I believe hopefully he'll come and I can give him his diamonds in a minute. Now, I'm back at my base, and I've decided that what I'm going to do in today's episode is I'm going to be starting work on, and probably finishing, an iron farm. Now, I'm going to be using Skippy6 Gaming's, I believe that's his name, Skippy6 Gaming's design, and I'm probably going to slightly modify it because, it'll be a little bit more obvious as I start to build it, but basically it works on, now iron farms now work on beds and workstations and the bell, and what the main decision I'm going to make is I'm going to be changing up where the bells are, so there'll be few more bells than in his design. At any rate, I do need to collect, I think it was 4 stacks of signs, which is a lot of wood, 2 stacks of workstations, 3 bells, at least in his design. I'm going to need more, 20 hoppers, a few buckets of lava and water, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to start gathering all that stuff up and start working on getting all those things ready. And first off, I need a whole lot of signs, and I'm going to need a lot of wood for that. So I'm going to go off to a forest and just start demolishing some wood and getting those signs ready. Well, I actually had to go out for a little bit, so I thought I might AFK fish, and this bit actually looks a little bit darker since I've come back. So I believe I've actually been pranked for the first time this server. Let's go out this way. That's a little bit quicker, and yes, indeed, I've been pranked. I have no idea who did this, but why is there always a mushroom cow in here? Anyway, I was encased in a giant sphere of netherrack. I suppose it's a rather good prank. It doesn't actually do anything to harm me. It's just a little bit annoying, but it doesn't actually fix anything. And I really like the effect they had on it. So I suppose it's a really good prank, and I suppose if you did indeed do this, maybe we're going to get you back one day. So be warned for that. I've actually heard that killing off the wandering trader means that they'll drop all the stuff that they are carrying. Let's kill this guy as well. No, they didn't. That's a little bit annoying. Ah well. Anyway, so yeah, you can see exactly what damage the mushroom has done. Anyway, so I've been AFK fishing for the last, 3-4 hours, and this has actually happened in the meantime. So I'm going to have to figure out who did this, and probably figure out who did it so I can prank them back. Well, it's been a few hours, or actually it's been a few days actually, and I've managed to gather up all this stuff, quite a few signs, a few hoppers, lava buckets and bells that took a long time to gather, and glass. Now I actually should give a shout out to Uniting Statue, who helped me gather up the sand for this glass, and I forgot to mention in episode 1, I believe it was, that he actually helped me demolish some of these mountains over here. So I'm sorry for the delay in the shout out, but also thank you very much to Uniting Statue 82, I believe. Uniting Statue 82, as you can see on the screen, who did indeed help me both gather the glass and start getting rid of this mountain. I believe he's been hanging out with me for quite a bit, and has been quite a very big help in and around the base. In addition to that, he's also now gone to get some sheep, because in addition to the 80 odd workstations that I need for the villagers, I also need 80 beds, and unfortunately you can see I've only got 5 white wool here, and I've got a few beds scattered around the place. So unfortunately that's not going to be quite enough for the iron farm. So thankfully Uniting Statue has volunteered to go get some sheep, which will be very useful again. So that's another thing he's been extremely helpful with. Now, I thought I should probably build the iron farm in creative first, just to check that it actually works, because I've been burned before by that. I remember once building Tangotex one of his iron farms in 1 point whatever it was before the update anyway, and naturally it didn't work because back then the Java and Bedrock editions of iron farms were very different, and even now they're a little bit different because this thing I believe relies on the Java gossip system, and I've been letting this run for about 5-10 minutes now, and it hasn't really done anything. So what I might do is go AFK for about an hour and a half, up to 2 hours, and see exactly what I can get from it. Because one of the disadvantages of this design is requires a lot of beds and a lot of bells as well, as you can see with my design. And unfortunately I don't really have that many bells, so I'm gonna have to see if this design is actually worth the hassle or go for a different one. I have seen a couple of designs for Java that say I think it was up to 1200 iron an hour, and I believe that's mainly because the gossip system that Mojang has put out, as well as it was basically this design as well. The village in the middle, workstation, glass, water, all that kind of thing was basically the same design. So I'm going to have to do a bit of testing and see if this design actually is going to be a good one to build in the realm. Well, I've let this go for about 2 hours or so, and it's probably not as efficient as it has been because they did spawn 4 golems in here. To correct that, I've now put in a couple of glass blocks, but let's have a quick look and see exactly how many iron ingots I got. And stack and a half. That's not too bad, I guess. It could be better, and I think it probably will go up if I've gotten rid of these golems. So what I might do is kill off all these golems using a command, and then I shall AFK for another couple of hours and see if the spawn rates do go up with the iron golems. Well, after a little bit more testing, I actually killed off all the villagers and replaced them all, putting in exactly, or a little bit around 50, and it didn't really seem to improve much, although that said I did see 2 iron golems in here at once, which is probably more than I've ever seen in here before. So I think I will build this design. It's going to be quite a while, and I still need a lot of wool for the bed, so I might not actually finish this project in this episode, but rest assured that it will be finished. Perhaps I am hoping by the time the next episode comes out. So time to get back into the realm and start building up this thing. And just a bit of a progress update. As you can see, I've now put in the side bit, so this is where all the water goes, and this is where all the beds go, and then the water again. You may note that I've built this out of dirt, and that's because all the dirt is going to get removed anyway, so the beds will go on and then the dirt is removed, and so yeah, that is why I put that in. So what I'm planning to do now is put in all the cartography tables, all the looms and whatnot, and for the villager bits, for the villager professions. Now, the main reason why I'm going with this design is to try and future-proof it. So, in the future, if and when the update comes round to change the way that iron farms work, we'll be ready for it. So, that's the main reason behind the change. Now, I think I might just put them all together, and I do have to be careful because they do have an interface, so I need to be careful as to how and when I put them in. But anyway, I'm going to get started on that and put in all the water and whatnots and go from there. So the next one will be a little bit further down the line, hopefully with this mostly complete. And a little bit more of an update. As you can see, I've now put in all the water. I now realized I've actually made a big mistake. This glass should actually be one more block out, and same on this side, so this water is actually a little bit less than it should be. I'm just really hoping it doesn't affect the spawning rates, so I'm just going to leave the glass uncovered, because I believe glass is a non-spawning block, at least in Bedrock, so that should help it. So it will mean that I probably get a little bit less of lower spawning rates, but I don't really want to be bothered cutting down all the glass and just replacing it, especially since I've now put in all this water as well. Now, this is where all the beds are going to go. I still don't have enough wool, so that might have to wait until later. But for now, it's time for me to start building up the killing chamber for these things. Now, one thing I should probably do as well, before putting in the beds as well, is put in all the is putting in all the bells. So I think this thing is now 34 blocks instead of 36 as it is in the testing world. So I think every 10th one I should put in one. No, that would mean I have 3, and I really want to put 4 sets of bells in. So that means 32. So every 8 I should put in one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Put it in the middle, so there'll be a glass block there with a bell, and a glass block here with a bell on top of that. And I think that will do. So now we have, if we count 8 from this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the glass block goes there, and the glass goes here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think, 8. And if we count 8 from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's really close. Maybe it wasn't, maybe it's not that. Maybe it should put it like this instead. Oh well, I'm gonna have to manage this and have a look at it. But I think I've nearly got it. There we go. And then this glass block can go here, and this glass block can go here, and they'll be pointing inward. So that's 1, 2, 3, 1. Yeah. I think it's actually one more this way. I know I've wasted quite a bit of glass, but it's really something I can get pretty easily, I think. Let's get that out of the way. A bell. So anyway, what the bell does is I think it helps with the village. I'm not actually entirely sure what the bell does, but the video tutorial I'm using actually uses a bell, and from what I understand, it is necessary for the next stage of the thing. That was a mistake there. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This side 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I have 7 on this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, 1, 2, 3. I'm not entirely happy with that, but I suppose it's going to have to do. And I do have 4 bells left over, so if people want to buy them from me, they will cost you, unfortunately. But that is the bell setup I'd like done. It's a little bit more than the tutorial I used, but actually that's it. I could probably do this as a secondary system. So if we put that one there, and hopefully it doesn't destroy the setup I've got for the villagers and all that. But there we go. So the bells are now set up. I just need to stick in all the beds, and this should be, and of course the villagers, and this should be a working system. And another bit of a progress update for you. I've now slotted in all the beds. I actually managed to make it quite neat, so I put some red ones, some white, some black, some light grey, some dark grey. That's mostly from finding sheep all over the place and dyeing a few beds red, just so they were a little bit more broken up in the colour. So that is all there. I've now also put in I've also removed the dirt from the bottom, which I'll just come down and show you here. Yep, so there, so now this is no longer a spawning zone. I'm not really sure if these will count as spawning zones. It'll be a little bit annoying if they do, because then golems can spawn in there, but well, I can always just go in and kill them at any point if I need to. So now I need to put in the villagers, and hopefully I only need to put in 2, and then the rest will start breeding themselves into, well, they'll just start breeding and breeding and breeding. So I'm going to get started on that now. And then this thing will be up and running, and I can finally get some iron from an iron farm. Okay, after a little bit of work, I've now got quite a number of villagers in the farm ready to go, and unfortunately I now realise I've actually built this 1 block too low. So now 1 block too high. No, It is one block too low. So I'm going to have to remove this, and thanks again to Uniting Statue who's going to help me with it. So I did actually get a golem spawning in this bit, so I need to lower it by 1, and hopefully that will fix that problem. Now, obviously this isn't the most pretty building in the world. It's just all stone and glass and all that kind of stuff, and if you look up there, it's a lot more different, but I've got some plans to make this look a little bit better. I'm probably thinking of putting a white not white concrete, a white thing around it, to maybe quartz or white concrete, and basically make it a little bit prettier. I'm going to be following the idea of the skyscraper city, so it's going to be a modern skyscraper city, and this will probably be a nice big deep building, and there'll probably be a road along here somewhere which I need to get started on. So actually I'll do that in the next episode. So that is the plan for this one, to make it just a little bit prettier. Hopefully it doesn't destroy the Guardian Farm, not the Guardian Farm, the Iron Farm rates, but it's just a hopeful. I do want to make this thing look a little bit prettier, much like my Season 1 builds, but that is of course a big future project to do. And unfortunately I believe that's all I've got time for today. I know this episode's coming out a bit late, and I'm sort of rushing it to get out so I can have it done today, or when it published it anyway. So I'm getting it done now so I can get it done. Again, apologies for the lateness of this episode, but it really couldn't be helped. I've been quite busy with other things as well. Anyway, if you've liked this episode, remember to leave a like and subscribe, and don't forget to keep watching out for the next one. Goodbye!